All right, what is up, takers? Welcome back to Ty's Take Today Live. I go by the name of the Tyler Belts. We do this each and every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And joining us today, we have two interviews for you all. We're going to be talking in just a moment to music artist, singer, songwriter, engineer, producer. The list goes on and on. Sam Watson, and then as well as later on in the show, we are talking to author, public speaker, certified master coach, Crystal L. Murray. So you already know how we start each and every show. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to you guys real quickly. Go ahead and be sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com// rather at It's Ty's Take Today. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram as well at It's Ty's Take Today. And we are so close to reaching 300 subscribers on YouTube. So as we continue to grow and increase our audience so that we can begin monetizing and doing brand collaborations and sponsors, be sure to go right now, if you're not watching us on YouTube already, and hit the subscribe button on YouTube at It's Ty's Take Today. Like I said, we are going to be continuously providing you guys with more content and interviews and coverage. So be sure to go ahead and then also follow us on our official website at tystakeToday.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, be sure to join the conversation. You can use the chat feature and chat with us, and we'll be sure to show your chat or your comments and your opinion on different things throughout the broadcast. And let me go ahead and take this banner down, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with our first interview tonight. Joining us right now is Sam Watson. Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, big dog? How you been, man?
Doing well. Thank you for asking. Trying to stay warm with this crazy weather. How are you?
Man, same, man. I'm just now coming back in full throttle with the music because of the weather, man. The weather had me down this past December because the switch up was crazy, man. But I'm doing good now.
Absolutely. Well, I want to say thank you for joining us today on today's show. And I really want to go ahead and just dive right in. If you can introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about your journey and how, what was that moment where you were like, this is what I want to pursue. Music is what I want to do.
I got you. So what's up, y'all? Good to be here. My name is Sam Watson. I am from a lot of cities, man. I'm from Muskegon. I was born in Grand Rapids. I'm from Ann Arbor and a little bit from Detroit, man. I got family here, but I really I started taking music seriously at 16. I started singing when I was at least 4 years old. What really got me into music is really just growing up with it my whole life. Basically, my family is music oriented. Aunts, uncles, great grandfathers, great uncles, you name them, man, they got something to do with the music business in some fashion. Like, of course, I got cousins that are artists. It doesn't even matter. They got their hands in there somehow, some way. And I've always been exposed to that world and always been enlightened and definitely been like interested in learning how some of this stuff works. Like just learning simple things like how to play the piano or learning how to sing, period. You know what I'm saying? So, given that my family helped me or guided me without really guiding me, I just spectated and learned from what they like and what they didn't like, what they cherished, what they didn't cherish. I started going on my own journey and seeing what I like, what I didn't like, see what my type of music would be. And I've grown to become this producer, this artist, this engineer in each chapter of my life. Each year that I got older, I wanted to learn something new. It all started with pianos, the next singing, the next learning how to record yourself, and then learning how to mix yourself and all that good stuff. So it was just years of just building up that portfolio, and it's just starts out with family, and then friends come in, and then of course all other artists that do that thing out here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So not only being an artist, but you're also a songwriter, an engineer, a producer.
Yep.
Can you walk us through, how all of those combined shape you as a creative and as a music artist, and kind of take us into that creative process, if you will?
So which one you want to start first? Engineer, producer, songwriter? Which one you want to go in first?
Let's do engineer.
Engineer. Cool. So as a lot of people know, engineers are a very important piece of getting the artist to sound really good sonically on the radio or on streaming platforms, period. And I always wonder, how is that process even? How does that process go? I was always wonder, how did you even get your voice to sound like this? You know what I'm saying? So I always wanted to just ask people, but I didn't know who was in that world at the time. So, like I said, I started taking music seriously at 16. So I met an engineer for the first time and recorded at a professional studio for the first time ever. And seeing all the mechanics and all the things that goes into that world was amazement to me. It was just crazy. It was just like, wow, this is a lot. This is a lot to really think about, because there's a lot that comes with it. So my curiosity said, y'all just want to learn this, and that's what got me really starting into music engineering and learning the mechanics of that. And of course, and I've been doing this since I was 16. I'm 28 now, but I'm still currently learning that world of how you can get certain type of mixes and all types of different types of sounds you can explore, and different ways to execute a sound that you want more than 10 different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like math. Like, 2 plus 2 is 4, but 1 plus 3 is 4. What goes into 4? 4, 2, 1, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You get to, it's like there's so many avenues of getting the same result. So that's how I got into that world. And along with singing and producing, that kind of helped along the way, because it's still on the computer, mechanical stuff like that. So combining those three together just really helped, really, like, make everything clear on my end. It's like, okay, I know how to engineer, I know how to produce, I know how to record, so I can actually put all this together. You know what I'm saying? So it's a journey, man. Like, to get into it and what it looks like and what it could be, is that'd be a whole book in itself. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So we might just get a book eventually down the road, right?
I'm down to do that. I'm actually open to do that.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit more about who have been some of your biggest inspirations growing up or even today, that kind of has influenced you as an overall creative.
Okay. Growing up, I grew up with Motown, specifically Temptations. I grew up on the Temptations, very heavy. Um, Temptations bass, anything Motown, Stevie Wonder. Um, my parents had my dad specifically will always have, like, burnt CDs of songs that he really enjoyed at growing up as a kid and a teenager, and so on and so forth. So I was always exposed to, old school stuff, Anita Baker, and depending on what he liked in the 90s, SWV or anything of that nature, the classics. My mother was the same way, but she was more like, I like the old school stuff, but I also like the new stuff too. It works out. So I got the best of both worlds, essentially. So she's like, I like Brandy, I like certain Mariah Carey songs, I like certain gospel artists, or in that manner. So that's how I got exposed in that world. Um, um, Growing up as a teenager, I was trying to find that inspiration on who I could follow, in a sense, and try to find my own sound, or try to mimic that sound at the time. And at the time, Chris Brown was like a heavy, heavy inspiration. This was like, I'm talking Fame and Fortune Chris Brown, and then X Chris Brown, Fame and Fortune, and Up, you know what I'm saying? And listening to him and listening to his X album made me really want to dive into the sound of mixing, the art of mixing, because the way his music was mixed in there, I was just like, I want my music to sound just like that. Of course, there's other artists that were engineered by the same engineer, you know what I'm saying? Like August Alsina, at the time when he was popping. Tank. Tank was a huge inspiration as far as singing and vocals and how you could approach something. Tank to me is a beast. And then later on, as I got a little bit older, in my early 20s, I just started to tap into artists that really didn't really get the mainstream sound that they was deserve. You know what I'm saying? The mainstream spotlight. So I started tapping into artists named LA, Tone Stith. And then before he really, like, elevated to where he is now. Small people like that, but LA now is the main inspiration of how I approach projects now, how I approach lyrics, production, really just the mental thinking of how can I approach a song. LA is spelled ELHAE, and he's like cool. He's really dope, bro. I really wish I had a chance to really um, talk to him and let him know like he's one of my biggest inspirations.
Absolutely, I'm gonna have to. I'm familiar with Tone Stitch, but I'm gonna have to definitely look up LA for sure.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say sets you apart? Because I know, like, there's so many talented people, especially, you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
being from different areas in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
What sets you apart as an overall music artist and creative? That's different than, some of the other artists or producers out there.
I say, ask that question one more time. The mic went out on my end.
Oh, yep. So, what is, being from the different areas and different cities in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
what sets you apart as a creative overall than, some of the other music artists or producers or engineers out there?
For me, I'm trying to the difference. If you go to Muskegon, Muskegon has their sound. You go to Detroit, Detroit has their sound, and so on and so forth. You get where I'm going. So I don't try to mimic that sound necessarily. Muskegon got its own sound, but you can't really you can tell if somebody did some different type of genre or the way they write or the way they sing, you know what I'm saying, or the way they rap in this case. For me, it's like I never wanted to try to be in a pocket where people's like, oh, I've heard that before. I've heard it already. It's nice, but I would love something different. I try to stick with trying to be really outside the box of creativeness. How can I sing or show off my vocals a lot better than the last project? How can my pen be a lot more tighter and a lot more precise and a lot in the vocabulary? How do I expand my vocabulary a little bit more in that world? Production, how can I be more creative in that world? And that is a world of just experimental things. You can really take it anywhere if you really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with engineering. Like, how can I upgrade my sound from the last project? You know what I'm saying? It's just, I think that way. It's just like, I want to be different in that sense. I listen to a lot of mainstream stuff, which I love, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I listen to it and I'm like, okay, now I know that, now I know what everybody's going for. I'm gonna try to think outside the box a little bit, try to include some of that in there, but also put my own little twist on it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, this is nice. I actually can tolerate this, or even like, oh, this is different, but I like it. You know what I'm saying? I try to aim for that.
Absolutely. And have there been any like specific moments that kind of have shaped you as an artist overall? Like any pivotal moments in your life that really
Mhm.
signified your passion for music?
Um, I will say when the pandemic hit, I had a chance to everybody had a chance to sit down, right? So for me, the pandemic really kind of like opened my gears up a little bit more, like seeing how I can like really be more creative because you couldn't go outside. You couldn't really go outside and perform your songs and do whatever you wanted to do. So I had time to really sit down and think of how I wanted to approach my next project. So making my project Dark Rose, my previous project before the one I have out now, Dark Rose was like the opener of like, okay, I see where it's going. I see where it's headed. I see people are really gravitating to this. Now let's see what I can do for the next project. And so just during that time from the pandemic to making Dark Rose, which was like 2 years later after the fact, and everybody when the world was open again, making that project specifically really opened my mind to a lot more things, a lot more ideas, and a lot more ways to approach a song. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So, in correct me if I'm wrong, but Dark Rose came out in 2022, right? So,
Yeah.
right during that pandemic area.
Hmm.
What has the transition been like from Dark Rose to your latest EP, which is titled Just Listen, that is currently out?
The difference with this project, just listening, was a lot more, way more personal. Um, and I made sure that it was intentional on where I was going and how I was saying things. Um, the writing in the writing in Just Listen was a lot more straightforward than trying to be more mysterious like Frank Ocean or something like that. I try to be, you know what? I don't want to be too metaphorical. I want to be straight to the point so everybody can get what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, and why I'm saying it the way I'm saying it. You know what I'm saying? The message really is just listen. and really take heed in that moment to really self-reflect on yourself, and not only yourself, but self-reflect your circle or whoever you're with, and see how you can, if you have issues with whoever, you can find a way to really figure out how to, fix that problem, find a solution with words, or even more just, hey, look, here's a project, hey, tell me how you feel, this song represents exactly how I feel, this is the reason why, blah blah blah. So I wanted to be a lot more personal with this project. Dark Rose was personal, but it really wasn't. I was trying to have a lot more fun and be more open, with a lot of pockets that a lot of people wanted me in, and also myself. So I was like, I want to have some fun. I want to talk a lot of smack. I want to talk. I really want to just have fun and just really dig deep in that world of like, hey, look, I'm the best at what I do. Let me show you what I can do. So.
And speaking of the Just Listen EP, were there any songs that you were able to like collaborate with other artists or other producers?
Absolutely.
And can you tell us a little bit about those features or collaborations?
Yeah, of course. One thing you should know about me is that I'm not closed. I'm always open to collaborating with somebody, especially if I think that can really help me elevate my sound past a certain level, or whatever the case may be. So I got a chance to work with my dog Brooklyn Beats. He's actually from Michigan. I don't know specifically where, but he's definitely from Michigan. He's worked on a lot of my projects from um, my first EP, release 1, 2, and he also helped me on Dark Rose as well. So I definitely said, yo, I need your help with some of these songs on Just Listen. I had a chance to work with my guy, Bob Sled Jimmy out of Atlanta. Again, for this third time, he helped me work on a couple of songs in my second album, The Process 2. So I knew I needed a certain type of sound, and we made Pick and Choose together. And he's really dope at what he does. I think those are the only producers I really worked with. That's crazy. 2 other producers. And then as far as collabing with other artists, I collaborated with my good guy Jazz, who is also a dope engineer and writer himself. Man, he's a dope artist. And if you heard the project, we start off the song together with a song called Leveled Up. And then my girl REB, who is the mail lady, who recently went viral on just doing cover songs about being a male lady, just the struggles of that world. And me and her been friends way before the fact that even happened. So the fact that me and her was able to get a song in together before everything happened, it was just like, wow, it was perfect timing. And then I had some people do some backgrounds for me. Shout out to my boy K Huff. Shout out to Nico Noir. She is disgusting. She is just like a crazy, crazy good singer. It's ridiculous. Who else? Who else had a hand in? Shout out to my girl Miss Christiana for writing. I'm not afraid to ask for help if I'm stuck at writing. Miss Christiana, Autumn Lene. I'm trying to remember who else is on this project. And my boy LT, man. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody else, but if I did, shout out to everybody who was a part of the project. Forgive me if I didn't mention your name. It's a long list of people that was on that project. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then in the past, you've also gotten the chance to work with Eric Bellinger as well, correct?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to like work with him like virtually or like physically. It's like my boy K Huff, who I mentioned. He's an artist himself, and this had to be during the pandemic, a little bit after the pandemic. Huff managed to secure a feature with Eric Bellinger on one of his songs, and Huff called me and just said, "Hey man, you about to be mixing Eric Bellinger's vocals." I was like, "Oh, all right, cool. Say less. Let me know when they come through," and boom. And then it wasn't until I actually had his vocals in the session I'm about to work on, I'm like, wow, that's his vocals. And I've been listening to this man since forever. All right, say less. So that's how that really came around. That's how I also got the West Side Boogie credit as well. Another friend secured that feature with him, and so on and so forth. Man, it was a crazy time. It was just like that really happened. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. I'm still like, dang, that's crazy. That still happened.
That's wild. That's also incredible. So congratulations on that. So
Thank you.
I like that you said, you're always you're not afraid to ask for help, and you're always open
Hmm.
to partnering and collaborating with other talents, as long as the vibe and the energy matches.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Most definitely.
And so obviously the music industry can be extremely demanding and stressful at times. How
Hmm.
do you as an artist and as a creative prioritize, mental health? We talk about mental health a lot with almost all of our guests on the show.
Right. Mental health to me is, I think should be, I think for everybody should be very important because not a lot of people are really open to really talking about how they feel mentally or how they feel physically, mentally, spiritually in that world. So for me, the way I do it, I used to do it and I still kind of do it is like, sometimes talk to people who I know can really talk back like they're actually a therapist themselves, but they're not. 9 times out of 10, I usually write how I feel in a song, depending on what the situation is. But I try to just make sure I have a good support system, and friends. It could be just one person that I can rely on. So with mental and really, that's how, at least that's how I handle my situations. I at least try to talk to somebody. If that doesn't work necessarily, or it gives me a nudge, I just continue that process. Okay, I talked to somebody that helped. Let me write about it. That helps. You know what I'm saying? Or I just get on a video game, let off some steam. You gotta get. I feel like video games sometimes can really save a life.
Absolutely, just taking that time, like video games, writing, journaling,
Hmm.
reading. There's so many outlets, and I think especially with like the cost of therapy being so high, that's not always an option for a lot of us. So
Right.
I think finding that outlet is essential, just to decompress and wind down. What advice would you give to other creatives out there that may be watching that are interested in possibly starting or pursuing a career full time within the music industry?
The most, I think one of them, I'll give 3 tips. I think number one, I think one of the most important things is really being consistent in that world because now it's content based. Um, Also be and just to piggyback off that in parentheses, like really be mindful on how much what you spend your money on musically. Um, let's just say, for example, you want to do a music video for one of your songs, you can definitely do that. Not saying you can't, but if you decided to invest $1,000 into this video and that included whatever else you needed, you just think about how you can break down that thousand. You could literally break down that thousand into multiple small videos that could help you really maintain the consistency. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to really do that. You know what I'm saying? Number two, know your business, learn your business, learn the music business in that world because a lot of people will try to, I guess, take over and try to take control of what you got going on in your life. And of course, everybody wants their own control, creative control, and make sure that everything goes smoothly on the business side of things. Really learn that world, learn the definitions of words that you don't know. Don't be scared to ask questions, especially if somebody's willing to uh, give you that information. You know what I'm saying? Learn, read a book, learn from other artists, or even really just ask somebody that's been in this game for like 5 years or more. And the last thing I honestly would say, be prepared for 1,000 no's. Be prepared for 1,000 no's because at some point, one, all those no's should build you up. Hence why you mentioned the mental health. A lot of those notes is going to bring you down and make you think that you're not worth your dream. Whatever you're trying to go for is not worth it. Don't think that. It's just help you to push to be better. A lot of people will tell you no and give you a reason why, and definitely help you on how you can really elevate your sound and really evolve into a better artist than you already are. Because some people can already see what you got going on and what you could be and what you would, and they're just trying to push it out of you. So really just be prepared for 1,000 no's, a million no's, but that one yes or two yeses or three yeses, that'll help you get through it. I'm telling you, just really prepare yourself to fail. Sometimes you got to lose to win. it's gonna work out in the end, man. Then don't give up. Don't give up, no matter how long it takes. Like there's so many examples of people who are much older than they look that are very successful. Like Lucky Day, damn near in his 40s, literally about to be in his 40s, and we're just now getting a glimpse of this man from during the pandemic. If I'm being honest, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Like Rosamore came out like right before, a little bit before the pandemic, and then the pandemic came, and then he blew up to be this huge artist, and then boom, you know what I'm saying? So that's just one example. Anybody can make it. You just got to be consistent, find your team, pray, be consistent, and really be smart with your moves, man.
Absolutely. And what are some of your biggest goals or dreams as an artist that you're currently working on, and any upcoming projects?
Really, no. Since I finished the EP, just listen. I've really just been focused on pushing this project. I'm really just gonna be straight up pushing this project for like a year or two with shows and interviews, whatever I can do to really get this project onto somebody's front door, front desk, and be like, okay, this is good. What is this? I'm interested, or whatever the case may be. So I'm trying to do everything that I possibly can to give this project exposure, and it's slowly coming up and it's slowly happening. So I got some shows coming up February 23rd. I also have one February 1st. Gonna see what's going on. I got a show in March as well. I'm trying to build up that portfolio of just how many performances I can do. I'm trying to do something like that as far as short-term goals. As far as long-term goals, man, I would love to work with my boy LA one time, maybe twice. Just work with him however I can, whether that's just me recording him, help writing for him, producing for him, whatever the case may be. And then the major artists I do want to tap into, Billie Eilish. I want to tap in with Billie Eilish one day. That's a big milestone for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, speaking, I'm a big believer in like the secret and like speaking things into existence and
Hmm.
manifesting. So definitely putting it out there is definitely going to help it transpire and help it, actually happen. So speaking of your upcoming events, and we'll be sure to share and repost more about your upcoming events and performances.
Hmm.
The February 23rd show is in Hamtramck, correct? Can you tell us
Yes.
a little bit about that event and where people can purchase tickets?
Yes.
And what can the audience expect from that performance?
So February 23rd, I'm doing Breaking Sound again for the second time. It's in Hamtramck. I've actually, the first time I did the show, it was actually in the same exact spot, and so I'm already familiar with what I have to do and the space and everything. The first time I did the performance, man, it was beautiful and it was awesome. I had a chance to really show off some of the songs before I released the project at the time. Now that the project is fully out, now I can really go crazy with a full band and really expose these songs to these people and let them know, hey, yo, we got some good music. And not only that, I'm performing alongside my boy Asaka the Renegade, my girl REB. I don't know who else is on the list, but I know for sure that I'm performing with two of my good friends, and we're going to be throwing that place down, man. I'm telling you. So to find tickets, you can tap into my Instagram link. It has the link in there. Please sure to just click the link. I know tickets right now are $15. I know they're probably gonna be 20 at the door whenever the event comes. But February 23rd, you're more than welcome to get your pre-sale tickets, man. Come through. I hope you guys really do come through and have a good time with us, because I'm telling you, it's gonna be a great show, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And then so we have your Instagram as well up on the screen.
Hmm.
Instagram's at Sam Watson _ official.
Yes,
And
sir.
then like the ticker says on the bottom, people can tune in and stream your music on all music streaming platforms, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All music platforms. Feel free to hit me up on IG and let me know how you feel about the music. If it's trash, let me know why. If it's great, let me know why. I take all criticism. I'm here. I'm here to show some love and just make good music for you guys.
Absolutely, Sam. And before you get out of here, we in the past with all of our guests, we play like a quick rapid fire questions game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're down, I got a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
All right, go. Hit me with it.
All right. So first, what is the first album you've ever bought?
First album I ever bought. You're the Gentleman Neo.
If you could collaborate, and I know you already answered this, so if you could
Mhm.
collaborate with any other artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Living, Chris Brown. Dying, dead already. Oh, that's tough. That is tough. So many legends. So many legends. I'm gonna do a top three. I'm gonna do he not dead. Jesus. Michael Jackson, number one. Number two. What's his face? What is his face? What is his face? Marvin Gaye. And number three, my birthday twin, Donny Hathaway.
Okay, okay. What's your go-to comfort food when you're in the studio late at night?
Go to comfort food. Honestly, it doesn't hurt to eat breakfast late at night. So I would do a nice French toast with some sausage patties, and maybe some eggs and bacon. Full meal. With some orange juice.
Hey, that sounds good. I just had French toast earlier for like a late lunch. That's that's
Yeah.
one of my
You
favorites.
feel me?
If you weren't, all right, this might be a little tougher. If you weren't in music, what career would you be pursuing?
No, this wouldn't be tough at all. I would be pursuing some type of career in teaching, whether if that was in the music career. I'll still stay in that music world, just be teaching, maybe mixing classes, maybe teaching singing classes if I learn that. Teaching in some form of fashion. The music will never go away in that world.
And then, which song of yours do you think would make the perfect soundtrack for a movie scene? And then, what type of scene would it be?
Dark Hole. There's a song on the EP called Dark Hole that is the deepest and the most personal song and the saddest song, because the song Dark Hole is basically about when you hit rock, when you feel like you hit rock bottom or have hit rock bottom, and now you get to really hear why this person is in this state of mind. So for a specific scene, a scene of just maybe who, if I got Denzel Washington and Denzel just died, and the son and whoever plays his son, Michael B. Jordan plays his son for whatever reason. Denzel just died, and Michael B. is going through that phase of grief, phase of pain. And not only did this character Michael B. Jordan loses his father in this place, but he had already succumbed to a substantial uh, amount of losses before his passing, all at the same time. So just dealing with that grief and how he's dealing with it. That song, I can hear that song really just playing in the background, just saying, "Yo, I drowned in a dark hole, and this is where it led me to this." The icing on the cake was my father passing. So something like that.
Okay, okay, I can see it. I'm envisioning it. Well, lastly, what is the weirdest or funniest thing that has ever happened to you, either during a live performance or a recording session?
During a recording session, I honestly can't say that I've had any weird or actually, never mind. I did work with this artist during the pandemic, and this is when it was kind of open, but still kind of like iffy. Like it's safe, but it isn't. At the same time, I was working with this potential artist, and she was very demanding. Like she was a butler. Like we were the butlers, and she just came in immediately and said, "Hi, I need this, I need that, I need that. Can you do that? Can you hurry up, please?" Like it was one of those type of things. That's what didn't make it weird. But what made it weird is that she thought that we was on a different type of time with her, because she's beautiful. Like the woman is beautiful. She's a model, she's fit and a chocolate goddess, but we was never on that type of time to begin with. And she made it seem like we were just in it just to get at her instead of really just working with her. So that, I would say, that was just weird and awkward. She's a really cool person though at the end of the day, but how she works and how she thinks when it comes to work and put us in that circle of weirdness, it was just like, yeah, that's weird. We don't like that.
Very awkward and uncomfortable.
I was like, don't compare us to these people. We not them.
Music industry, wild industry,
And I feel
wild.
bad. I feel bad. Like to me, that's how I figured out, like, dang, people really came at her the wrong way. Whoever it was, y'all need to get yourselves together, brother.
like previous experiences is not the same what we're working with currently.
Yeah, I'm just
That's
like
wild.
I'm telling you, I'm open. I'm here. What you want? What do you need? How can we do this? What you need, girl?
Absolutely. And Sam, before closing us out,
Mhm.
any last minute thoughts, words, anything else that we may have missed or not covered?
Man, let's cover you real quick. One easy question, man. How are you? Period.
I am doing good, extremely busy. Um, just staying busy. If there's anybody out there that has a unique story or is a creative individual, we're constantly looking to share people's stories and talents on our platform.
Hmm.
But yeah, myself just staying busy, full-time school, full-time work, doing all the things. So I appreciate that question. And then once again, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and pop your YouTube and Instagram back up
Hmm.
here. And then we'll also be sure to include more information about the event on February 23rd at the New Dodge Lounge in Hamtramck.
Hmm.
So
Yes, sir.
be sure to share any event information with us, and we'll be sure to repost it and reshare it. And everybody can stream your music as well on Apple, Spotify, all of the streaming services. So I just want to say thank you again for joining us today.
I appreciate you guys having me. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody tapping in, man. I would love to do this again whenever you have time for me.
Absolutely, you're more than welcome to join us anytime. Thank you again. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, man. You too, man.
Absolutely. All right. And then thank you all for joining us. That was music artist Sam Watson, engineer, music artist, producer, songwriter. Be sure to follow him on all social media platforms. We'll be sure to include that information in the description and captions of these videos. And then also, real quick, I do want to just say thank you all for everybody that's been rocking with us since we've been starting this new edition where we broadcast live every Thursday and Sunday. So joining us, we have a ton of upcoming interviews and guests for the month of February already. So I'm super excited about that. And we'll be continuing to be here every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. And you guys already know how I'm about to close us out. I do want to say that if you are currently watching this and you're going through some things and you may be experiencing some challenges or obstacles, just a reminder, today's Tyspiration is that these are all temporary conditions and circumstances, and you can and will overcome all of those things. So just keep that in mind. Life is crazy and tough at times, but of course, at the end of the day, what's meant to happen will happen, and that's what truly matters. So that being said, I just want to say thank you again for joining us. Go ahead, y'all already know, facebook.com/at It's Ties Take Today. Go ahead and hit that like button as we are continuing to grow our audience. Be sure to go ahead and also follow us on Instagram at It's Ties Take Today. And then, of course, we are so close. I'm going to actually check right now because we are super close to reaching our first goal of subscribers on YouTube. And we would love for you all to follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube on there. You can see all of our past episodes. Currently, we have our upcoming episodes scheduled on there too, so you can take a look at what's forthcoming. Our last few episodes included empowerment and inspiration, life lessons with life coach Cherie Colbert and media mogul Jaja C. Hubbard. We also have conversations with Duell Andrews and Benicia Sierra. There's a ton of interviews and content on there for you all to take a look and watch. And I don't know if you all can see this, but we have, and there's a glare on the screen. You can't see it because my phone needs to be wiped. Anyways, we have officially reached our 300 goal on YouTube. So thank you. If you all are watching this, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart as we continue to grow and we continue to increase our audience and bringing you stories that matter and just stories of successful creatives and individuals. So if you haven't, youtube.com/at It's Ties Take Today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I am so thankful for all of you. And before we get out of here, Mashia Watson said Sam is so talented. So be sure to follow and connect with Sam and stream his music on Apple and Spotify. That's going to do it for tonight's episode of Ties Take Today Live. Be sure to join us this coming Thursday for more content. And I hope you all have a great rest of your evening.